I'm going to give you a lesson today that is going to help you get better with your fairway woods, and comment down below how many times you have hit this shot. For me personally, I know it's into the hundreds, but we get there, we've hit a lovely drive, and it might be that you're a senior golfer or a slightly higher handicapper and you use your fairway woods a little bit more for your second shots, but you think, great, I'm in the fairway, I've got it going, but do you know what? It's bloody happened again. That wasted drive, and it's infuriating when we hit them. We feel like we've wasted it. We've got to now go and probably hit the same fairway wood again, and we're not filled with confidence. And this happened to one of my friends the other day when we were playing. He uses his 5 wood and his 7 wood a lot when he's playing into the second shot for par 4s and par 5s. And that shot was happening loads. And we literally tweaked a couple of things, and he got these clubs going, and straight away his front 9 to his back 9 score, I think, was like 6 better. Something like that, all because he was just getting these flighted a little bit more. And they are hard to hit. I mean, look at the size of the face there. It is miniature. Compared to your iron, you've not got much space for that. We've got a nice big sole, but what we don't want to do is get that sole hitting the top of the golf ball. And the first thing that I changed with this chap here was all to do with setup, and I'm a firm believer that we've got to get our basics right. If we look at all the best golfers in the world, they have got a meticulous way about them when they get ball position, when they get their body aligned, when they get their grip right. Because if you can get the basics right, everything else becomes a little bit easier. But because of this fact that he was topping the ball quite a bit and he wasn't seeing any launch, my pal Mike had gone to this setup now where he thought, well, my ball's not going this way, it's going more down that way. So if I want the ball to get up that way, what I'm going to do is get a little bit more like this, because everything I'm doing now is looking more up towards the sky, which isn't what we want. Yes, you've got a fairway wood out, but it's not like a driver. I still want to try and take a tiny divot. And if I'm stood here where the majority of his weight was actually behind the golf ball, so we see myself here, if I've got 50-50 weight now and it's directly on the golf ball, everything he did was all about leaning back. His shoulders went up too much, his sternum went behind the golf ball, and all his pressure was going down into his back foot. We don't want that. First thing we've got to see, that as we address the golf ball now, I'm going to get that golf ball about 1 inch to 2 inches behind my lead foot. From there then, as I stand, I'm going to feel that I'm 50-50 with my weight. I don't want to see that I'm like 70-30 or 70-30 in this direction. Feel that I'm 50-50 as I stand to it here. From there then, the sternum is only going to tilt a tiny amount. We don't want to see that we're leaning back here and getting it up there. Literally, it'll feel like you've moved it about 1 inch. You'll go, dum, and that is it. Just notice as I tilt my club there, how little that club is actually tilting. My pal, as he was doing it, the club would be tilting out nearly on his front foot as we go through. So first things first, let's make sure that we get that set up right. Don't look like you sat behind it trying to help it up in the air. Look like you're nice and athletic. You've got that 50-50 pressure in the feet, ball's in the right spot, and we're going to see that we've got that nice little tiny tilt of the sternum. From there then, it was all about the takeaway. And he would say, well, you know what, I need to think more about what I'm doing at impact. The problem again arose from the thought of seeing this high ball flight as opposed to him topping it all the time. He thought, well, if I pick the golf club up quickly, so notice how far that club head moves, I can almost touch it here. Well, I can touch it here. He was getting a swing that was up here, and then as he was coming down, he would back out of it and almost try and lift the golf ball. So his arc was only really working in a space that I could get my hands in this here. We don't want that. Again, small face, not much loft on here. What I want to try and do is get a pretty neutral attack angle. I'm going to come down on it slightly, but but I don't want to be coming down too much like that, because if I've got no loft on it, chances are I'll back out and try and help the golf ball up in the air. So really simply, I said to Mike, as you take it away for me, I want you to hear the sole of your golf club. I want you to get that brushing on the floor. Imagine you're just sweeping that turf away. Try and listen for it. So as he got into it now, his focus was then taken away from his, well, I need to get it up, I need to get it up, I need to get it up. What he thought about was his setup. He did that, that was all well and good. And then from there, he went for listening for this little brushing sound, and you'll just get it as you start to take it away. Now, as he does this, what starts to happen, even if you've only got a small swing, look how far away that club is now. We were here a minute ago. I'm over there now. So all of a sudden, I've built a much wider arc. So as I come down into the golf ball, I can actually get a shallower descent into the golf ball and almost feel like I've brushed it on the way back and I've brushed it on the way through. So we've got our setup right. We've got this brushing sensation right. From there, then it was, well, Mike, you know you've got a 3 or a 5 or a 7 wood in your hands. I want you to take a divot. And he looked at me like I just told him that, you know, chocolate fire guards are the best things in the world. Don't work like that. We need to see that we're taking a little bit of a divot. In his mind, again, everything was all about the up. I want you to get it up. I want to get it up. So hitting down on it, taking a tiny divot didn't make sense to him. But if we just come in close here, what I've actually done already is placed a little T-peg in there. So I've got it in the ground, and what I almost want to try and feel like is I'm going to hit this golf ball, I want to feel like I'm going to brush that T-peg. So that then gets my low point of the golf club after the golf ball. When Mike was stood to it like this, and he was back behind it, and he was lifting it, everything he did was bottom out here and go over the top of the golf ball, resulting in that topped or thin sort of horrible flighted shot. If I can now adopt a good setup, get that wide takeaway and get my little brush on the tee, I'm going to see a much better golf shot because I'll bottom out at the right time, I've got a good arc and I'm set up for success. So real simple. We're going to get in here, I'm going to get that wide takeaway and I'm going to just brush that T-peg out in front of me. And even there, I've not quite caught that one. I've got it a little bit bottomy, but you know what? It's launched a lot better. I'm just going to hit one more just to demonstrate this as we go through. So good setup, wide takeaway, give it the little brush. And that is much better. You can hear the sound of the strike. It's real crisp and I've flighted it. And one little bonus tip for you, one thing that we did after his round of golf, if you look at how your golf clubs change, a lot of them now have the little screws in here. We've got 15 degrees. I actually added a degree of loft onto his woods as well, all to help him just get the ball a little bit more airborne. Because if you get it up in the air, the chances are it's going to fly further, so we want more carry. You might lose a little bit of run, but we've got to cover the ground first. We've got to get it up there. So put those three things together, add a degree of loft onto your fairway woods, and you'll start to see that you're going to rip those fairway woods. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed that lesson. If you have, do remember, hit that subscribe button. I want you to get better at golf, and I'll see you in your next lesson.